Hello. I love video recorders. How strange is that? Today we're looking at the third and final machine in this series of video decks, which was recently donated to me. Let's get stuck in. What we have here now is a Sony BVW65P BetacamSP player. Now, as I understand it, this one has some nice features. I believe it has a built-in time-based corrector. It also has something I've not seen on any other of my Betacam machines. It has an RF meter to let you know what the signal strength from the tape is. It also has dynamic track following on the heads, so it can do picture search at different speeds. Not something I'm going to be using particularly, but an interesting looking machine. Let's have a look, see what it can do for us. Let's have a look at the front panel. It's ridiculously heavy. I'll set all these to middle, but I don't know if it makes any difference at the moment because you have to pull them for variable, but anyhow. Local, so we should be able to work it. There's our meters. It takes small and large tape sizes. Let's see what goodies we have in here. Audio monitor stereo or mono, TBC control local, right? So these are the time-based corrector settings, black level and what have you. They're all set to preset position, which is normal condition. Oh, is there something else in here? Oh, I like this. Okay. There's more underneath. Let me see if I can tilt it in such an angle that you can see it. Oh, the weight of the thing is unreal. Okay, so we have some more setup controls here. Oh, and the hours meter. Oh, we'll definitely have a play with that in a moment. See what the hours are on this machine. Assuming any of this works. And now I'm told that this one does work. It doesn't have any feet on it. The lid is loose, but that may be neither here nor there. But since the lid is trying to fall off, let's take it off. Before we do that, let's have a look around the back, at the risk of my own back. Let's see what connectors we have. Digital out. What are they? Is that SDI out? Maybe that's an option. Interesting. So, oh look, this old monitor connector. You might have seen me come across one of those on, if you remember my video, the Sony U-matic video recorder, which is now the Sony U-matic, has one of those strange connectors. Dub or component. So presumably that would interface to U-matic. Actually, it could interface to the very strange video recorder I was mentioning a moment ago. It's got composite output and component out. What it doesn't have, which would be really useful, would be S-video. It's probably just the wrong vintage for that. A lot of my capture systems work on S-video, but this is very interesting. I wonder what that's about. If that's DVI out, I can make use of that. I'll have to look it up. Then we have some connectors for remote controls, TBC and the main remote. This one has a blank on it, so presumably that's for an option we don't have. Looks like it's just another remote control option in much as it looks like an old-fashioned printer port. Alright, let's take a look inside, shall we? I can tell this is going to be noisy, judging by the two fans on it. There's cobwebs in here. Perhaps I'll clean them out before I use this machine. Look at all the contacts there for the dynamic track following. They're the voltages that control the piezo heads. Rumour has it, I'd love to know, do you think this is true? Rumour has it that Sony licensed the technology for dynamic track following from Philips when they developed it for their V2000 format. You have a look at my other videos, you can see me playing with V2000 machines. When Sony and Philips got together to work on compact disc, because we all know Sony and Philips invented CD. But to me that doesn't quite make sense. you see dynamic track following on V2000. Well, when was V2000 released? Oh, around 1982 or something like that. Well, CD would have been well along the road of being developed by then, so I'm not sure that makes sense. Someone tell me. Right, so we have what? TBC, several TBC boards. I don't know what all these are. AFM, which is audio, obviously. TC, which would be time code. SV, I think that's servo. DT, dynamic track following. Should we have a look at date code, perhaps, on one of these ICs? If I can see them. 8851. So this was built sometime towards the end of 1988-89 sort of time. Well, it's actually slightly newer than I thought it would be. Right, we'll hook up a monitor and power and see what we get. Right. Annoyingly, there doesn't seem to be a audio output monitor connector at all. So apart from monitoring on headphones, there's nothing I can do to monitor the sound. So we'll go picture only for the time being, if we get a picture at all. Now this machine takes both size tapes. Just at this moment, I don't have an analog large size tape. So I don't know what it would do if I put that in. I know some machines just spit them out. They say oxide tape. So we won't mess about with that one. We'll just use our small tape, if it powers up at all. Isolation transformer on. Lots of fans. Something on the screen. All looks promising. All lacing up. So far so good. Press play. Nothing. Maybe there's nothing on the tape. That part of the tape. Let's rewind the tape. Nothing on there. There's something on this tape somewhere. Oh, there we go. RF is good. That's quite good, isn't it? The RF is really strong. Okay, we can see a little bit of cross patterning there because it's composite video connection. Is a dynamic track following working now? Let's see if we can actually demonstrate that. Huh. There's nothing useful recorded on this tape, it would appear, just colour bars. That's a shame. Oh, there is something on here. I'm not sure if it's in colour, but it doesn't matter. Yes, it does appear to be. The dynamic track following is working. We may need to do some adjustments to get the freeze frame solid. You can see, I don't know if you can see that that's bouncing up and down. I dare say that's something we could adjust out. I think that's all we have on this tape. Let's eject the tape, make sure that works okay. Oh, that was an unpleasant noise. Wonder what that was. Should we try that again? Press eject. I didn't clear those cobwebs, did I? Fight my way through the cobwebs, and there's a drive belt here. And wonderful thing about Sony equipment, it tends to be so easy to work on. If you wanted to change that drive belt, it's just a complete walk in the park. Don't think that's what was causing that horrible noise at eject, but let's look at it again. It's not doing it now. Maybe it was the cobwebs. Just hadn't been used for a long time, had it? Do you want to see that mechanism? Let's set you up to see that. Here's eject. And lace. This is the loading belt here. You know, they could not have made that any easier to work on, could they? There's little white flecks of debris on the tape path, and that usually is as a result of mould. It's peeled off the tape as it was playing, so they've had some mouldy tapes in here, I suspect. Lucky they didn't snap, or maybe they did, because mould does tend to glue the very fine tape together that's used on Betacam, and they snap just like 8mm tapes do. Have a look at my video on that. Okay, let's just for a laugh see what happens if I put the large digibeta tape in. It'll either spit it out or fail to play it, one or the other. You'll see when I put the tape in that the table spools will open out for the large tape. You might see it. Of course it can't play it, just rubbish on the screen. I'm surprised it even does that. UVW65P will spit the tape out saying oxide tape. Well, it's not an oxide tape, but it's one it can't play. Let's eject. Right, so that leads me to think, will it play an oxide tape? Well, I don't have a Betacam oxide tape to hand, but if it will physically accept a Betamax tape, then it will probably accept and play a Betacam oxide tape. And I have Betamax tape to hand. Let me just grab one. Who says there's no common ground between Betamax and Betacam? Let's just see what that does. It might just spit it out. It might accept it. Let's have a look. Well, if it accepts that tape, it will probably play Betacam oxide tapes. Oh, that's that horrible noise again. Where is it? Down here somewhere. I wonder if a bit of very light grease might be useful down here. I'm going to give that a whirl. Okay, since you last saw me here, I've applied a little grease to the bearings around the loading motor. But something else, the drive belt. Never had this before. Normally drive belts get a bit slack through age, but this drive belt was really tight, and I suspect someone's fitted a drive belt that's too small. That might have been overloading it. So I've installed a drive belt which fits. Now maybe that's too slack, and we'll find out. I've also cleaned up a lot of the tape path, tried to get rid of some of that mould gunge. I've just spotted a bit more that I'd like to get rid of, especially where it's on the head or where there was some other material on the upper drum. So I've cleaned up generally, including the capstan and pinch roller. It doesn't look in bad shape, it really doesn't. So let's just pop that tape in again a few times, see if it laces and unlaces a bit happier now. Okay, that's laced. Try and lace. Still making that horrible noise. We may have to live with it. It's a minor thing, really. If anybody already knows what that horrible noise is, do let me know. It's definitely associated with the loading motor. Might even be the motor itself, but it's not doing any great harm, so it's not worth spending any more time worrying about it right now, I don't think. Let's just reload the Betacam tape I had with the recording on it, make sure all that's happy. Nice strong RF. It's a lovely machine. Now, one last thing I wanted to look at is if we can read the hours meter. I'll switch it off just for a moment while I pick it up. I'm going to try and get it so you can see this as well. Okay, so there's the hours meter, and it looks like you press this button until it steps through. And generally speaking, it's drum running, which is the most important one, and you have to multiply it by 10 on this machine. So let's power it up and see what we get. Press it once. Oh. Nothing. Does that mean the internal battery's gone flat on this? Probably, doesn't it? Let's press and hold the button, see if that does anything. No, that's not going to do anything for us. Oh well. Not really important. So, alas, we can't read the hours meter, or I'm doing something wrong. I suspect it just doesn't work anymore. Power down and put the lid back on. I wonder if the lid's a bit bent. Maybe that's what wasn't fitted properly. Let's have a look. This front panel's all a bit loose. Probably what's happened, what always happens to these things, somebody has another machine on the top and they slide it out, it catches this and pulls it off. That's something that always used to happen with Betacam, with pneumatics, and it breaks the plastic tabs at the side here. Yes, that's clearly what's happened there. It's cosmetic. Yes, you can see why it ends up like that, can't you? A little cosmetic work required, possibly, to try to secure the sides. I'll do a bit of that, I think. But other than that, yes, great, we like that one. Earlier on, I'd noticed the two digital outputs on this machine. Strange, really. The Sony digital player that featured in part 1 of this series had no digital outputs, yet this analog player does. The SDI Serial Digital Interface Professional Signal standard was introduced in 1989, the same year as it appears that this machine was built. So could it be that this machine supports that brand new standard? If so, I can use this to feed the machine to an SDI video capture device, and it could be really useful. So let's hook it up to an SDI capture card and see if it conforms to the SDI standard. It turns out this is only partly true. It does output a digital video signal which works with my SDI video capture system, as you can see here. But alas, there is no embedded audio on this signal. This was apparently an upgrade option provided by Sony, which connected directly to the digital time-based corrector circuit. So the capture is silent even though you can see audio on the player's VU meters. That makes the digital output a bit useless for me. So close but so far. Still, it's a nice player. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this BetacamSP player. Please remember to like, share and especially subscribe, and I'll do more content on audio and video technology in the near future. Bye for now.